Well, yes, this is the first time I've come to Goa and attended this festival here. Earlier, I would often go to Delhi and visit it. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Uh, the vibrancy, the excitement is in the air, and have been really enjoying this for the past 8 days. Uh, but to be here as a chairman of the jury is something which is a great honor for me, and I have really enjoyed the process of sharing thoughts and ideas with my jury that is sitting on the dais here. Jill Bilcock, who is an Australian eminent editor, could not make it this morning because she's a little under the weather. But of course, she misses being here this morning. Well, I would say that between us there has been a kind of a camaraderie. At first I was thinking that if I'm going to chair this, am I going to have a lot of convincing to do about my point of view to the jury members, or is there going to be will the jury be in sync with each other? But none of that happened, and we were like birds of a feather flocking together, almost in synchrony about the kind of films that we were all liking. It has been a very, very, apart from the films that we saw, the 15 films that we saw, it was a very enlightening experience to even interact with this jury. So I'm very happy about that.
Ashutosh ji, you yourself said, I mean, cinema transcends borders and you could sit together, make a team and feel the films. So I would like to mention all the other members also, including as we are from the different parts of the world. So let me begin from you. So Fran, what has been your experience and how do you see these 15 films which is being mentioned, the phenomenon, the selection process, etc. These are Indian journalists sitting with us. They would like to know, they would like to inform the future generations, any creative person coming up, they want to know what exactly goes through, and if a person with creative talent is available, we would like to reach out to them and inform them. So what has been your experience, Fran?
Thank you. So, thank you. It was really a pleasure to be here and share our thoughts with the jury. As Ashutosh mentioned, we really combined and convened into very similar thoughts, and the process was really a wonderful experience. I think what we have seen in terms of films, there has been a wide range of diversity, and that has also it kind of shows the variety of films that are currently making the stage in the world. So I think we were privileged to actually have films from everywhere in the world, and to be able to comment, to be able to see the trends, to be able to see what films work for us from our diversity of cultures as well. And that was the real experience, the discussion, the discovery, I would say, and the discussion that came after.
Let me have privilege of giving a better introduction to Fran. He is born in Spain. He is a distinguished producer based in Asia, known for his impressive body of work featuring award-winning films. His work extends to films like Uni, which secured platform prize at Toronto International Film Festival, and Tiger Stripes, which won the grand prize at the Cannes Critics Week. His other projects include Oasis of Now, Stranger Eyes, a Golden Lion competitor, as well as Village Rockstars 2. So we have the privilege that you are with us. I would like to now invite Elizabeth Ji. You are a highly respected UK producer who has co-founded Number 9 Films, Stephen with Stephen Goley in 2002. And if I would like to mention her contribution, I would mention 5 films which have collectively gained nominations in 52 BAFTA and 20 Academy Award nominations. 5 films include Carol, Little Boys, Made in Dagenham, Mrs. Harris, and Colette. So we are privileged to have her here with us. So I would also like media to frame some questions relating to this event. And now I would request Madam Elizabeth to please enlighten us with your experiences in Goa. You just said creatively it was vibrant, you felt in Goa.
Yeah, I need to turn that around on its head and say it's actually my privilege to be here with the other jury members and to be in Goa, immersing myself in this festival. And I think that I've been enlightened. The films were range from work coming from Brazil, from India, from Lithuania, from the former Czechoslovakia. It was really a fantastic period to be immersed in these stories brought to us by filmmakers from all over the world, and to affirm that great stories do cross borders. Whatever governments would like us to think about borders, they can be crossed with great ideas, emotion, but also to show the difference in cultures and the different experiences that history has brought on the individual. And we saw some really great stories of moments where individuals speak or are spoken for, where individuals triumph or are suppressed by these moments in history. And it's just a fantastic thing to be able to immerse yourself through cinema in these worlds and in these people's stories. So it really was a privilege. And I think one of the other great privileges for me is actually being able to talk in a room with people who love films. And I can be quite strident in my views, and it's a wonderful thing to have someone speak, Ash, Fran, Anthony, Jill, from their perspective, and to think, that's interesting. I hadn't actually remarked upon that while I was watching the film, because it's always about a conversation. It's always about a dialogue and sharing views. And so whilst I think we were really in sync with our responses, there was also room for debate, and that is really enlightening, because I think there always has to be room for debate and open conversation. So it's been a great experience, and obviously who doesn't love coming to India and being in Goa, and the hospitality and generosity of everyone involved in the film festival has truly been remarkable, so thank you for that.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Before I move on to the journalist for questions, let me have the privilege of introducing Anthony Chen. He's a renowned Singaporean writer, director, and producer, celebrated for his award-winning films. His first gained international recognition was for a short film, Ama, in 2007, which made him a Singaporean filmmaker to win at the Cannes Film Festival. His debut feature film, Ilo Ilo, was in 2013. It drew inspiration from his own childhood experiences with a family maid and won the prestigious Camera d'Or at Cannes, where it received a 15-minute standing ovation.
Wow.
So, very, very congratulations to you. Anthony, I would like you to make your opening remarks before we take any questions about IFFI, about Goa, about your involvement in this international jury.
I just want to say, it's great to be here in Goa, because over the years, a lot of my films have screened at the festival. I've been invited many times, but I haven't been able to come. In fact, last year, one of my films, Drift, actually played here and actually won the UNESCO Gandhi Medal, which I wasn't able to come and receive it, personally. And so it's really great to finally, be here, because I've heard so much about Goa. I've heard so much about festival, how big it is, and how wonderful Goa is, and it's been really fun, I think, being on this jury, because some of the members I've known for a long time, so it's like meeting old friends and new friends, and I think because of that we can have very, very open sort of like dialogue and discourse. It's been great. There are moments on juries where you feel like you have to keep to yourself. You're very careful about what you say, but this jury has been great. I think we've had very similar tastes, which made the process very easy, and I think one of the most amazing things for me about cinema is when I think we all react to cinema in a very visceral way, as human beings. When a film works and a film moves you or connects with you in a deep way, you could see, all of us come out from our seats and we look at one another and there's that magic in the air, and we all know like, we all embrace this and we all felt good seeing this, or we felt like, what talent. And I think that for me it's very inspiring, and that's what I constantly why I still go to film festivals, why I love going to film festivals is that um, as like all of us in the industry would know now, we're just experiencing like huge wave of change right now, in terms of the business, in terms of how films are made, how films are distributed, and for the longest time, I think in the past 2 years, I've been questioning what is cinema now, and and it's so good to sort of be seeing films and really feeling like cinema is still very much alive. Um, and I think that's the best feeling to be, because a lot of times I think filmmaking is a very very lonely journey, and there's a lot of self doubt, there's a lot of self questioning, um, and it's just great to know that when something works, it connects you and your humanity in such a universal way. Yeah, it's been a very wonderful experience, and with great people, and knowing that actually your taste is pretty good because other people have the same taste. I think that's what I'll say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Before I take questions from that side, I have a question to you, Ashutosh. Uh, you all are artists. Rather, it's a question common to all of you. Being chairman, I would expect you to first answer. You all are artists, producers, filmmakers, and you are well versed with the technique of expressing emotions through cinema. When you, being mature people, experienced filmmakers from different parts of the world, when you are given this responsibility of being a jury to filmmakers from different parts, diverse, religious, linguistic, geographical, diverse material before you, what goes on in your mind? I mean, when you select a film in its different aspects.
Well, of course, when you're watching the films, definitely artistic and aesthetic and technical expertise is looked at, uh, originality and creativity is looked at. But most importantly, we were also looking for, what are the emotional resonance of it, or what is the social or cultural relevance that the film has. Because yes, film should entertain, but sometimes you have to look for some kind of a emotional connect that you feel with the film, with the film's ideology, and it needs to be a new experience. And when that new experience is from India, well, great. But if it's from a different country, there's a new learning also that takes place. There's a new churning that happens within you, that you're reacting to a different, completely different culture. And I think you start forming your opinions about every film, each step that you take. And when you actually get into a discussion with the jury, that's when you realize that there can be different points of view. And you might have reacted to one particular aspect of a film, but another member is coming up with a different aspect. But you feel that, oh yes, you constantly felt the same while viewing the film. And so I think in this particular case, we all reacted to the same things, on quite a few categories in terms of the artistic and the social and the cultural relevance and everything. So it's always a challenge, and I always find it unfair to compare two films. But now, such is the nature of a film festival or any award, that you have to choose from those films, the one that stands out from the rest.
So Ashutosh has said everything is unparalleled. You cannot make any comparison. All works are equally good. It is just bound in a framework of competition. So the floor is open. I think anyone, if you have a question, please. Mike.
That you were choosing from. Thank you.
I think actually to jump in, I think one of the things we've seen that is a huge turn for the better is these incredible female voices that are coming out in cinema, like we've never seen before. And obviously the groundwork has been laid over centuries. And so I think each generation of women have provided shoulders for the next generation to stand upon. But now the films that debut female directors, second, third time female directors are making are just outstanding, particularly debut and second time filmmakers. And these are voices that are coming from all over the world. I mean, as you know, sorry it's been repeated so often, but Payal Kapadia's film, All the Light We Imagine, has just globally taken the world by storm, whether it's Manola Dargis's review in America the other day, which was sensational, whether it's the reception in Cannes. But filmmakers really from all over the world who are women telling stories, and I think what's so refreshing, without necessarily saying that narrative is gendered or visual aesthetic is gendered, but clearly these stories are being told in a way that hasn't been heard before, and there's such an appetite for them. So I would say that that's an incredibly positive thing that has happened exponentially in such a short period of time, suddenly, probably over the last 3 years. To put a positive spin on the bad things that are happening in the world.
Yeah.
त्याला कशात स्थान मिळतं?
तुमच्या इंटरनॅशनल ज्युरीचे फेस्टिवल जो मूवीज असतात त्यामध्ये त्यांना स्थान मिळेल का?
So I've said it in English.
Yes.
See, it's a tricky question you're asking me. Well, let me tell you that the 15 films that came for international competition, they are not selected by us. There's another jury that selects them and puts them ahead. So for us, what is important is to evaluate what is given before us. And will the winners of these films make more crossroads in other festivals? Absolutely, I think they will, because each one of them have got a great independent, new, original voice, and absolutely thought-provoking. So yes, I think each one of them has a different future. Anthony, the question is for you. That's because you're a writer yourself. That talent of yours as a writer, how much does it influence your mind when you're making your choices in international competition? When you're looking at films, does your writing prowess, how does it govern your thought process when you're choosing?
I don't think it's just specific to me because I'm both a writer and a director. I think all of us on the jury, we recognize when a screenplay is tightly written, characters are drawn out with nice arcs, that there are complex relationships built between the characters. I think we all talk about it during our process. And it's interesting, you don't go into a film sort of just thinking about one element of the filmmaking process. Of course, we recognize like, oh, that's a very good script. You could see it's all in the script. But a lot of times, I think that's the amazing thing about cinema. Like the first word that you learn. I mean, we all learn. Like especially those that have been to film school. The first word you learn about cinema came from the French language, mise en scène, and mise en scène literally translates to everything in a frame. And literally, as you're absorbing everything in the frame, in the entire film, that's where you sort of appreciate, like, wow. I think great cinema moves you in a very visceral way. You react to it in a very emotional way, and sometimes it's not just in that writing, but that writing continues in how a director places its frame. I mean, Jill isn't here. I can't speak for her, but she's an extraordinary editor. Not just for her work, but in all our discussions, you realize like, wow, she's really special. But but you might have heard this a few times, right? You know, the script is written, the story is written, you know, the first time on the script level, on the screenplay, and then it's written again when you're shooting the film, and then it's rewritten again when you're editing the film. And I would say that even looking at it, yeah, I don't think it just comes from the genesis of the screenplay or writing. I feel like that film, you know, through that process, is being rewritten several times, and we have seen even um, in some of the very strong films that we have watched, that you would see the editing is very very strong, and the editing also is a huge, I think, plays a huge part in writing that film.
Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, please.
Ashutoshi, hello. Hello, hello.
Sir, ma'am, दीजिए इधर.
Hi, Ashutoshi. This is Harshada Vedpatak here from Screengraphia. Just want to know that we all know you as an actor, producer, director, and now as the jury chairperson. So, how was that? Like your experience has helped you out to choose a film, probably a zero down on a something which could go worldwide aesthetically.
Actually, just this is exactly what Anthony also just mentioned. Um, yeah, when you're watching a movie, you are not thinking of the different talents that you possess. You know, when you're watching a movie, I'm never watching a film as a director or a writer or an actor or anything. You're watching a film just for the film's impact. And so it's difficult to segregate all of these values. It's only when you finish viewing the film, you start assessing it for all its merits, whether it's artistic or technical or whether it's original idea. And it's during that processing, analyzing time that you start admiring the different quality the film had. And that's when, with the jury, when you come up with all the discussion, you realize that what you reacted to and what you felt very strongly about is also felt by somebody else. Or you felt strongly about a certain emotional aspect of the film, but the others did not feel it at all. So there's a constant give and take, even within the jury room, of ideas. And for me, I always looked forward to the moment when we walked back into the jury room to discuss the film. Because let me tell you that these four, Jill is not here, but these four are dynamites. And it was such a learning curve even for me to understand their perspective. Because, you know, as Indians, we have a very emotional approach when we watch a film. We tend to think about how much hard work the team has put in, how much dedication that the entire team has put in, the directors put in to make the film. But sometimes that hard work is not enough. What actually matters, what actually just matters, is how is the film connecting the core idea of the filmmaker? How is it translating itself on screen? And when that comes from a Spanish perspective, or a British perspective, or a Singaporean perspective, or an Australian perspective, as in Jill's, it just helps you evolve. So that became an experience. I mean, this experience for me is going to be unforgettable.
Any other question? Yeah.
Whatsoever. Thank you.
Any other question? Yeah. Back.
I want to direct this to Fran.
Thank you. Well, I think yes. I mean, there is, when you discover films from different parts of the world, I think that you see certain kind of individuality, but at the same time you see things that are very universal. And I think those universal moments, those universal feelings, is what we're looking for, because we come from very diverse cultures, but as it has been mentioned, you know, we all have, in a way, agree to what we agree with our feelings to what we were, in a way, the emotions that we felt were very similar. So I think that that is, perhaps, the part that was, um, the real discovery here, yeah, for the fans.
Any more questions? So I think I would like to extend my thanks to the international jury here uh, for taking out your time and making this session a brilliant experience, and by educating me also, sir, that the the extraordinary performances, the capturing the human relationship, deep things which you, as you said, cutting across the global barriers of language, geography, and capturing them and rewarding them at this stage for their further propagation into this thing, so that our next generation of filmmakers can get a good platform. So my last request to Ashutosh ji to summarize this interaction is, how do you think this particular IFFI type of festivals or platforms are helpful for our current generation, new generation filmmakers? Your one line, two line, crisp answer.
Well, I think film festival usually is to bring together different, not just filmmakers, budding filmmakers, but also the delegates who are cinephiles, who love watching movies, and watch films that are coming in from all over the world. Which means you're getting an introduction to different cultures. You're getting an introduction to places where probably you'll never travel. You will never go there to experience that culture or experience their stories. So these different stories coming together at one hub, and in this case, such a popular hub as Goa, is, I think, the most amazing thing that has happened for IFFI. Uh, I still feel that the numbers need to rise. I think they are rising every year. This has been the best year for IFFI, is what I've been told by Mr. Shikhar Kapoor. And I think that this exchange of ideas that is happening here, even at IFFI as well as the bazaar, the market, where you have so many people coming in and pitching ideas and striking deals, looking for collaborations, looking to come together to co-produce. I think that also is a very important addition to our festival this year. And the new idea that has been put out, which has been introduced, is the creative mind.
Creative minds of tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Uh, so all the budding filmmakers who were not able to come in this year, I would say they have to make it happen for the coming 56th IFFI.
Thank you very much, Ashutosh ji, and the whole team. We are missing Jilair. She could not join us. Can I have mementos, please?
अच्छा अच्छा okay.
No one wants an artist to talk about anything.